Your backyard might be tanking your home's value right now, and you have no idea. The National Association of Realtors studied 11 outdoor projects in 2023. Some recouped 95% of the cost. Others crashed to 56%. But the worst offenders don't just lose money. They scare buyers off, blow up your insurance premium, and one of them can get you sued by a kid who climbed your fence uninvited. Let's count down 5 awful patio features, then flip to 3 that actually pay you back. Starting the list at number 5 is stamped concrete. You've seen it on every suburban driveway. Fake flagstone, fake brick, fake slate, all poured in one slab and stamped to fool the eye. It looks gorgeous on installation day, but the trap is built directly into the surface. Concrete contractors and industry sources, including the Concrete Network, agree stamped concrete needs a full resealing every 2 to 3 years. Skip a single cycle and UV rays bleach the color flat. Water sneaks underneath the surface, and freeze-thaw cycles crack the slab like a dropped phone screen. Now the real damage shows up. When stamped concrete cracks, you can't actually fix it cleanly. Industry installer Ninja Concrete Coatings openly admits the original color and texture are nearly impossible to match once the slab has aged in the sun for a few years. So your fake flagstone pattern ends up with a permanent scar running right across it. Pavers don't have this problem because you swap one block. Stamped concrete, though, you're stuck with the wound forever. The cost stings on top of all that. Resealing runs roughly $1 to $2 per square foot at standard industry rates. A 400 square foot patio means $300 to $800 every 2 or 3 years just to keep it from looking dead. And contractors will quietly tell you most homeowners stop resealing entirely by year 5. But the part most homeowners never see coming is the slip factor. Boss Decks and other concrete industry sources warn that sealed stamped concrete becomes shockingly slippery when wet, especially near pools. A child slips, parents lawyer up, and your decorative patio is suddenly Exhibit A in a personal injury suit. Gorgeous on Pinterest, brutal in real life. That crack issue is bad enough. However, the next feature costs you cash every single month you own it, and the value evaporates the second a buyer walks through. Number 4 on the list is the outdoor hot tub. The hot tub is the great backyard lie. People install it imagining wine nights under the stars. Reality is a barrel of chemicals that drains your bank account every 30 days. Freestanding hot tubs hold only 25 to 33% of their original value at resale, according to Sundance Spa's industry data and Consumer Affairs reporting. So that $12,000 dream tub is worth maybe $4,000 the moment a buyer pulls into your driveway. Therefore comes the ongoing bleed. According to industry source Heavenly Heat Saunas compiling owner data, DIY upkeep runs $10 to $30 a month. Professional service spikes to $50 to $200 a month, every month, forever. Chemicals alone hit $180 to $360 a year. Electricity adds another $300 to $480. Filters, covers, full drain and refill every 3 to 4 months. Hot tubs last 5 to 15 years, then they're hauled to the dump. But the cruelest detail most owners never know is this. Real estate firm Fast Expert reports freestanding tubs are treated as personal property by appraisers, exactly like the seller's car. They add $0 to your official home appraisal. So you spent $12,000 on something that doesn't even count toward your home's value on paper. Real estate publication DLTX Real Estate documented Dallas agents telling sellers to drain and remove portable tubs before listing. Why? Because first-time buyers and downsizing retirees calculate the removal cost in their heads before they even leave the showing. Removal alone runs $300 to over $1,000 depending on access. However, there's one strange exception almost no homeowner knows about. According to DLTX market reporting, if your house is a vacation rental in the Smoky Mountains, Lake Tahoe, or Aspen, a wood-fired hot tub can charge 25 to 40% more per night on Airbnb. So short-term rental investor buyers will pay extra. Everyone else wants it gone yesterday. That hot tub problem is rough. But the next feature has buyers literally writing tear-down clauses into the offer before they'll even sign. Number 3 is the above-ground pool. The above-ground pool sits in more than 4 million American backyards, according to Pool and Hot Tub Alliance figures, and almost every single one is a quiet wealth leak. Open Door put it in writing in 2024. Above-ground pools are personal property, not real property. So they're rarely included in appraisals and almost never contribute to your home's assessed or sale value. Redfin says the same thing in plainer English. They add zero resale value. But it gets worse. Real estate platforms iBuyer and HomeLight have both documented buyers demanding the seller remove the pool before closing as a written condition of the deal. So you paid $3,000 to $15,000 to install it, and now you're paying another $300 to $3,000 to rip it back out. That's a double negative ROI in two separate transactions. Therefore, the insurance bill stings on top. Per Redfin and Allstate referenced figures, homeowners' premiums typically rise $50 to $100 a year for any pool, in-ground or above. Florida's Residential Swimming Pool Safety Act under Chapter 515, considered the strictest in the country, also requires a 4-foot minimum barrier with self-closing, self-latching gates around any residential pool, and many other states follow similar codes. And there's a legal doctrine waiting to ruin your life called the attractive nuisance doctrine. It originated in the English court case Lynch versus Nurdin in 1841, and U.S. courts adopted it in 1873 in Sioux City and Pacific Railroad versus Stout. The rule says if a child trespasses onto your property and gets hurt by a feature that drew them in, you can be sued, and you can lose, even though they weren't invited. But the brutal stat that ends the argument is this. Only 1% of realtors in the entire NAR 2023 Remodeling Impact Report recommend installing an in-ground pool before selling. Above ground? It's not even on the list. The professionals who sell homes for a living quietly avoid the single feature homeowners most associate with backyard luxury. That pool is bad enough. However, the next feature is so personal and so brutal to remove that one documented owner waited 3 years for a buyer who'd take it. Number 2 on the list is the backyard KOI pond. U.S. News and World Report flagged koi ponds in its homeowner finance coverage as one of the top yard features that scare buyers away. And the real owner data behind that finding is wild. On the Koifin Owner Forum, a Pennsylvania homeowner documented that selling a house with a 6,000-gallon koi pond took 3 full years. Other owners on that same forum were openly advised by their listing agents to fill the pond incompletely before listing. The maintenance numbers explain why buyers run. Annual upkeep on a koi pond runs $300 to $5,000 depending on size and filtration, per Morganton Ponds data from 2025. Filtration systems are routinely undersized at install, which leads to cloudy green water, runaway algae blooms, and koi gasping at the surface every July. The visual collapse is fast, ugly, and expensive to reverse. Therefore, there are hidden code issues most owners never check. Home Inspection Resource Checker notes many municipalities require permits for any pond that affects wetlands, drainage, or water flow. Stagnant ponds breed mosquitoes, which can trigger county code violations. And like pools and trampolines, koi ponds count as attractive nuisances under that same 1841 legal doctrine. A neighbor's toddler wanders over, falls in, and you're inside a lawsuit you can't win. But the removal cost is what really wrecks the deal at closing. Industry contractor estimates put tearing out a mid-sized pond at $1,500 to $5,000. A backhoe day, a jackhammer for the concrete shell, and dump fees for the fill. Lenders' appraisers often refuse to credit the pond at all, treating it as personal property, just like a hot tub. So you've sunk $15,000 into a feature that adds nothing and costs another $5,000 just to make it disappear. Koi ponds are expensive heartbreak. However, the number 1 feature on this awful list combines almost every problem we've talked about, plus one that lands lawyers on your doorstep before you can sell. And the number 1 most awful patio feature is the trampoline. The trampoline is the most legally radioactive object you can put in your backyard, period. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission's official trampoline safety report documented 104,691 hospital emergency room-treated injuries associated with trampolines in 2014, the most cited year in the CPSC's data. The American Academy of Pediatrics formally discouraged recreational trampoline use in private settings in its 2012 policy statement. And data published by Policy Genius citing CPSC findings shows 75% of trampoline injuries happen when more than one person jumps at the same time. But the financial part is where it gets absurd. Insurance carrier guidance from Progressive, Bankrate, and NerdWallet all confirm trampolines are personal property in every appraisal. They add $0 to your home's value, no matter what you paid. However, industry compilations from Linux Insurance show your premium will spike 10 to 30% the moment your carrier finds out. Per the same compilations, Liberty Mutual typically charges a flat $75 annual surcharge. Farmers scales the increase to your existing liability limits. And some carriers refuse to cover trampoline-owning homes entirely, or apply what Bankrate and Justia describe as a trampoline exclusion endorsement that gives you zero coverage if anyone gets hurt on it. Therefore, the lawsuit risk is the real monster. The attractive nuisance doctrine we already covered makes trampolines a textbook target. A kid climbs your fence uninvited, breaks both wrists on your trampoline, and courts have routinely sided with the trespassing child. Florida Statute 768.075, the official premises liability statute, explicitly preserves the attractive nuisance doctrine in state law. Maryland is one of the few states whose courts don't apply it. But the secret almost no homeowner knows is this. Per NPR's 2025 investigation, CBS Boston's I-Team reporting, and the Insurance Information Institute, home insurers now use drone and satellite imagery from sources like the Geospatial Insurance Consortium to find undisclosed trampolines and pools without ever knocking on your door. Insurance Information Institute spokesperson Sean Kevaligan specifically said insurers look for undeclared trampolines and swimming pools as underwriting hazards, so that they'll never find out. Theory has been crumbling for the past decade. Industry compilations citing the National Association of Insurance Commissioners report that 27% of policyholders don't even know their policies already contain recreational equipment exclusions buried in the fine print. That was the awful 5. Now flip the script completely. 3 patio features actually pay for themselves at resale, and one of them quietly beats every fancy feature in this entire video. Counting down from 3. Number 3 on the value list is outdoor lighting. Landscape lighting is the most underrated outdoor investment in America. The NAR 2023 Remodeling Impact Report scored it a perfect 10 out of 10 on the Joy score, tied for the highest of any outdoor project they tested. Cost recovery hits 59% on resale per that same NAR report, which sounds modest, but the buyer perception bump is massive when listing photos go live. But the real win is what it does to your listing imagery. Real estate photographers have a name for it: the twilight hour shot. Photographers wait until the sky turns deep blue and capture the property with the landscape lights glowing softly through the yard. That single image style is one of the most requested listing photo formats in the industry because it stops the scroll in buyer search feeds. Therefore, the cost-to-impact ratio is wild. Per industry installer pricing, a full low-voltage LED system for a 2,500 square foot house runs $2,000 to $4,500 installed. The LEDs themselves last 25,000 to 50,000 hours per manufacturer ratings. Annual electricity costs roughly $50 to $100 total. So for the price of a single hot tub repair, you've added a feature buyers actively love. And the security angle is real on top of all that. Well-lit yards read as safer to buyers during evening drive-bys, which translates to faster offers. So you're stacking curb appeal, extended evening hours, and safety perception into one quiet, low-maintenance package. That lighting upgrade is great. But the next feature is the highest returning outdoor investment in the entire 2024 cost versus value report. Number 2 on the value list is the wood deck. This one shocks people every single time. The 2024 Remodeling Magazine and Zonda Cost versus Value report found that a new 16 by 20 foot pressure-treated wood deck costs an average of $17,615 and recovers 82.9% of that cost at resale nationally. In the Pacific region, wood deck ROI hits 111% per that same report. So you actually make more money than you spend, one of the only outdoor projects in the entire Zonda report that returns more than cost. But there's a twist most homeowners get completely wrong. Wood actually beats composite on pure ROI in the 2024 data. Per the same Zonda report, composite decks like Trex cost an average of $24,206 and recover only 68.2%. So even though composite has lower lifetime maintenance, the higher upfront price drags your resale math down at the closing table. Therefore, the NAR data backs this up hard. The 2023 Remodeling Impact Report scored wood decks at a joy score of 9.8 out of 10, and 74% of homeowners reported a stronger desire to spend time at home after their deck went in. That emotional response shows up in showings too. Buyers step onto a deck and instantly start picturing summer evenings. However, the maintenance reality is real. Modern Renovations contractor data puts annual wood deck upkeep at $450 to $850 in colder climates for staining and sealing. Skip the upkeep and you'll lose the ROI fast. But properly maintained, a wood deck is the best dollar-for-dollar outdoor play in American real estate right now. The deck is the highest pure ROI. But the number one value play in this entire video is so simple, so cheap, and so universally loved that the NAR scored it almost perfectly across every single metric they measured. And the number one feature that genuinely adds value is the patio. A plain, well-built patio is the most underrated wealth move in your entire backyard. The NAR 2023 Remodeling Impact Report scored a new patio at 95% cost recovery and a joy score of 9.9 out of 10. Real estate platform Orchard puts the resale number even higher at 100%. Storage industry research from Extra Space Storage compiling outdoor data says a well-designed patio adds 8 to 10% to total home value. But the Zillow research published in their March 21, 2024 press release is the real kicker. Across roughly 1 million home sales analyzed across the United States, Zillow reported that 6 of the top 10 features that helped homes sell above expected price were outdoor features. And a bluestone patio specifically added 2.3% to sale price, around $8,000 on a typical American home, purely from being mentioned in the listing description. The wording in the listing actually moved the sale price, even before buyers walked through the door. That's marketing leverage no other backyard feature comes close to matching. Therefore, the cost is the magic part of this entire play. Per industry installer pricing, basic concrete runs $6 to $10 per square foot. A paver patio runs $10 to $30. Bluestone, the material Zillow flagged for the price premium, runs $20 to $40 per square foot. Average install lands between $3,500 and $8,000 total. Compared to a $50,000 outdoor kitchen that only 1% of realtors recommend installing per the same NAR report, a simple patio is a wealth machine hiding in plain view. But the real reason pavers crush everything else is the secret we covered way back at number 5. Stamped concrete cracks, and you can't match the color. A paver cracks, and you swap one block out for $10 and a rubber mallet. The repair is invisible. The investment is permanent. The buyer's love is universal across every region of the country. So the boring answer wins everywhere. The fanciest features lose money. The simplest patio quietly outperforms every glamorous backyard upgrade in American real estate. So here's the wrap-up on all 8 features. 5 backyard regrets that drain your wallet quietly, and 3 patio plays that genuinely build wealth at closing. If this video just saved you from a 5-figure mistake, smash that subscribe button right now so the next homeowner doesn't get burned the same way.